guys, it's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day today. My apologies for not being able to make videos for the past 2 days. I had zero internet service where I was staying, and I barely had any phone service either. But, I mean, not really much has changed in the charts. We did have this CPI data dump right here. That was last week. And currently, we're just hanging out again around the previous all-time high of 2017, right? So it is a little bit dangerous to keep hanging around these levels, right? We saw what happened back in 2018, 2019. We were riding on 6,000 for, months, and then boom, 50%. Look what happened where we kept hitting 30,000, right? Eventually that broke. Well, now we're trying to do that with the $19,000 level. So I want to talk about exactly what needs to happen for Bitcoin. You could say that there is potentially some danger, maybe considering where we are right now, but also there is the big event, which is the FOMC meeting, and that is happening on Wednesday of next week. Now, I'm going to let you know what I'm anticipating to happen, but also what a lot of investors are looking for as well. And if we get the good news, or at least the news that we're expecting, then it is most likely that this is already pricing in the bad news. But if it's a little bit higher, well, then it could get worse. So I do want to go over that. I do also want to show you guys another awesome historic chart for Bitcoin, really interesting things lining up. And essentially, we're just going to talk about some of the key levels and what we can expect going into tomorrow, right? Try to keep this video a little bit short. We'll see if that's actually possible. If that sounds good to you, thank you for coming back to the channel. I love you. You're awesome. And without further ado, if you're not subscribed, get subscribed and let's dive in. So, guys, you can see right here, very, very interesting what we're seeing. So obviously we got rejected. We had this, what a lot of people were referring to as a bear flag, right? We saw something like this here. We fell right here. We fell. But what we're actually doing right now is we're kind of consolidating, right? We didn't have this crazy dump after we fell out of this bear flag. What we did do was attempt to retest this upward sloping trend right here, the bottom of it, and we did in fact get rejected. So you can see we just keep bouncing right here, essentially off the previous all-time highs, right? Right around that 19,000. It's a little bit different on every exchange, but anywhere between 19.4 to 19.7, that's pretty much the situation. So obviously, what do we need to do in the short term if you are looking to trade? Well, obviously, you can see right here, we need to break above this area, which is around 20,740, which I feel like a broken record. I've talked about that level now pretty much ever since right back here in July, so not much has changed in that arena. But to get really bullish again, guys, what we're going to have to do is essentially get back into this area right here. And if you also just want to add, this downward sloping trend that we're forming right here, this is like a little mini trend, then you also want to get up this spider line right here. So I would say, really, the area that you're looking at is around $22,475, really, to get bullish again on Bitcoin. And in that case, then yes, you could see us retest this heart line. So if I had a breakout to the upside from that level, I would be looking to long that, to be completely honest. And another more simpler chart that I could show you guys is this giant falling wedge that I've showed you we've been in for quite some time. And if you just, this is the center, this is literally the absolute middle of the falling wedge, and you can see how it acts as resistance when you're on the bottom and support when you're on the top. And currently, we're unable to break above it. So because of that, you can see it is acting as resistance, right? So until we can break some of these, downward sloping trends, if we can't break through them, then, unfortunately, it is going to keep putting that sell pressure on Bitcoin to the downside, right? But ultimately, still, I'm standing by this area. 22,475 is the target if we break and hold above 20,740. So that's the trade, guys. That's what I'm looking at. And obviously, a breakdown below the levels that we're at now could take us down to this wick right here. Okay, and that would sort of be our last chance to put in a higher low, and that would pretty much be right at around pretty much $18,000 even. Okay, and that would still be a slightly higher low, but anything lower than that, and actually, I'll let you know where we could go long term if that's the case. But obviously, if you guys do want to learn how to actually trade, make sure that you check out the tutorial popping up above. There's like $16,000 in bonuses below, so take advantage of that. Use the link in the description if you guys are interested. Now, I know we've gone over a lot of legacy indicators, a lot of legacy moving averages, and everybody says that it doesn't matter because it's different. We're in a recession, right? They're tightening and raising rates, but I do still want to show you guys these very important moving averages. So these are the four most important for me that I always use. So it's the 50, the 100, the 200, and then the green one is the 21 exponential, right? So I use all of these in conjunction with each other. And I want to show you some important data points you can see right here. So you could see that when we do have the 50 cross below the 100 right here, right? Usually that's around the end of the bear market. And also just looking at when we have these moving averages getting very, 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 very close to each other, which would be right here, is actually the closest point for the 21 exponential and the 200. You could see where that is. Now, just give me a second here. I want to just plot this out and then we'll have a look, right? So you can even say the same thing right here. You know, we had them getting as close as we possibly could. You know, we could go back even farther, right? We could go back even farther. If you want to take data from back here, that's the 50 crossing below the 100. And this is the closest moment for the green. You know what, forget this one. I don't really like analyzing the COVID crash because it was kind of like crazy, right? So let's just stick to like the normal ones. And you can see right here, we're having it again. So if I just get rid of all these moving averages now and just leave these lines on the chart, basically what you're starting to see is that we are somewhere, or we should be somewhere in this stage of the market, right? So we should be at sort of the tail end. Not to say we can't have a quick wick down or touch some lower levels, but historically speaking, if we're following these cycles, we should be somewhere near the bottom. And let me show you another very simple drawing right here. Very super simple. A 5-year-old could see this. This is what we need to do. And I'm not talking about what needs to happen with the Fed or, you know, the recession, inflation. I'm literally just talking about what I need to see in the charts to confirm that we are reversing the other way. So what you can see right here is what happens is you start forming right here this base, right? And that's where we had the bounce on the 6,000, right? And we were doing the same thing up here, right? A little bit more aggressively. We had higher bounces, but we still had a bounce here, a bounce here, a bounce here, and then we kind of touched it and fell through there, right? So that means that this sort of $30,000 level right here is pretty much the equivalent of the $6,000 level back here in 2018. Now, what happened once we fell below this level? Well, you can see right here, as soon as we fell out, we lost this. Bitcoin literally fell, you can see right here, about 50%, right? Depending on where you measure from. That was about 46%. But if you measure from the top of the move, that was 50%, right? And if we come over here and we look at what happened from when we lost this level right here, right? How much of a move down was that to the bottom? That's around 43%, 44%, right? Which was very similar to what happened when we lost the bottom here. If you don't count it from the top and you go from the actual level, that's about a 46% drop, 44% drop. So you can actually say that this, right, was this, and then once we had that drop, this is now this area, right? So what do we need to do? Well, we need to consolidate sideways a little bit more, right? And then eventually you want to break this downward sloping trend, right? So that's this trend right here. So we have some, you know, bouncing around to do, and then you want to break it, right? And then that doesn't mean that we're 100% out of the water just yet. Now, if you could see back here what we did in the previous cycle, what did we do? Okay, can you guys see this? We broke above this level, right? Right here. And then we consolidated on top of it for a few weeks. And then we broke back through the previous level. And that was the confirmation that we needed, right? So what you would want to see over here is something, and I'm just going to make this up, you know, if we're assuming it's a double bottom or could be a triple bottom, like 2 cycles ago, right? Where we have something like this, a little bit of a fake out. We come up here, right? We retest down. And then as soon as we break above this level, that is really ultimately when the bull run is back on. And you can even argue that during this moment, that's really when we're starting to really move again to the upside, right? But the unfortunate thing, that's what we need to do. But the unfortunate thing is that we are tied so much to the traditional stock market right now. And the DXY, you can see right here, I'm sorry, the S&P, I'll get to the DXY in a second. We did lose this upward support, right? We fell through. Hence why we're seeing Bitcoin held down again, because Bitcoin is clearly being treated like a risk on asset. Now, the DXY has stalled out for a few days here. And if we go and zoom out, you could see the importance and the significance of this level. I actually still have my drawings on from the other day. You see every time we hit this level right here, it's either a major resistance or a support area. And also we're hitting the top of this upward sloping trend. But a lot of this is going to depend on what happens next Wednesday. So Powell and friends are going to come out, and most people are expecting there to be a 75 basis point hike. Now, I believe that this dump that we got right here last week on what do you call it? CPI data, right? I believe that is them pricing in a 75 basis point move. So if we see a 75 basis point move hike coming out next Wednesday, I don't think that would be bad for the markets. In fact, I think the markets may even have a slight recovery, even though they're raising rates. You're like, wait a minute, they're raising the rates. That's bad. Yes, but they're raising it what we expected. So we already had the dump. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I think 75. Now, if we see 100, that could be a problem, right? Because that will be 1 full percent, and that would not be what people are expecting, right? I mean, there's a few people that say it might be possible, but I would have to say like 99% of everyone you talk to is leaning towards 75. So that would be very bad for the markets. That would be a lot of uncertainty, right? So that is the fundamentals. Getting back to this, as I said, we've never fallen below this 89 on the EMA for the monthly, right? You can see right here, and we are dancing on that. So losing that 18,250, keep in mind this number changes over time. It's a moving average. Right now, that's where it's sitting. Losing this area would be the potential catalyst that could send Bitcoin to some of these crazy price targets that people are talking about. Now, historically speaking, Bitcoin has never actually fallen below the 1.618 ever off of major cycles, meaning taking this top and measuring it down to this bottom and then extending it out, right? And you can see that we danced on that level for so long, right there, right where it touches the blue, that's the 1.618. This is the first time in Bitcoin's history that it's ever actually fallen below that in a larger cycle. In a mid cycle, it's done it before, but never in a cycle from major top to major top, unless you think that this is a mid-cycle rally and this, in an even broader market, and then that would just flip everything on its head. That would make the target for the next Bitcoin Bullrun top to be like 280, 300 or something like that. But you can see that it is a bit of danger because now that we're sitting essentially on one, right? Meaning we went right back to the previous all-time high. The next levels you could see right here are actually at around 16,250. That's 0.76. And then we have the other 0.618. So we have the 1.618 and then this level right here, 0.618. And guess where that takes us? Guess where that level takes us, guys? Right back to those monthly closes, right? For this level where I said that would be the worst case scenario. So for me, the worst case scenario would be to go down to, around 13,500, 13,800, depending on what exchange. That for me would be, we're already doing things we've never seen us do before, but that would be incredible to see us go any lower than that, right? But of course, if things go according to plan, if, the Fed does come out and just do 75 and they just kind of keep in the stance that they're in as expected, hopefully we maybe see inflation start to come down. I don't know. It's pretty out of control and most of the numbers aren't believable anyway. But, that's sort of like the long-term, quick short-term outlook. As you guys could see, we did close 19,575 on CME futures. Probably a good chance we revisit it. So, there's a chance that, when markets open, we may retest around $19,600, $500 on Monday just to kind of close so that we don't have a gap, right? Talking about Ethereum, look at this, guys. How crazy is that? Look at Ethereum, obviously being a little bit of a sell the news event. Bitcoin did pull forward. And look at this, resistance, right? And boom, support. Amazing, right? Amazing how the charts work. So technically, Ethereum holding up pretty well. Bitcoin did pull above it. But I just wanted to say, according to what Mike McGlone he was over on KitGo, and he was saying that he still believes Bitcoin will hit 100,000 by 2025, but it has to go down first. And he was also talking about sort of washing out a lot of the excess, a lot of the garbage, a lot of the, meme coins and meme stocks, right? And everybody just throwing darts. He says, we have to sort of come back to earth, get grounded. Bitcoin has fundamentals. It is digital gold, Ethereum smart contract platform. But, these other coins like pickles and dogs and stuff, it's kind of got to get washed out, right? A little bit. But he does agree with the sentiment that they won't go higher than 75 basis points. So if that is the case, and if they kind of can level it out and it is what we're expecting, even though they are raising and we know they're going to pivot eventually, that would be okay for the market. So that's it for me today, guys. Thanks for coming back to the channel. Just wanted to give you a quick overview. I know, right? Not that exciting. I wish I had some crazy exciting stuff to talk about. It could be dangerous come Wednesday. I mean, if Powell comes out and raises 1 full percent, you're going to see some bloodbath probably in the markets. So that's it for me, guys. Thank you for coming back to the channel. Hope you enjoyed this quick update. Remember, if you do want to take advantage of that $8,000 bonus from BitGet, make sure you check the links below. There's over $16,000 in bonuses. And also make sure that you check this video popping up right here, right now. My name's K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. Until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.